Friends, this is a clock prophecy alert for December 14, 2025. I want to discuss the journey of 3i Atlas, a stellar object that will be at its closest approach to the Earth on December 19, 2025. Since my last audio alert, I have learned what I believe may be the purpose of this cosmic visitor based on information I am about to share with you. 2 weeks ago, 7 days before the last podcast message, I imaged a comment left on a related video about a signal picked up near Jupiter when the comet had achieved perihelion, meaning it had gone behind the sun. Whoever this poster was, I have not been able to locate his original comment. All I have is the screenshot. If by chance you should find it, please let me know. This person shared that the signal included a calculation in which the number 3.7 was divided by 89 to produce a result of 0.041573. If you are viewing this as a PDF, you can see the screenshot of this comment that I saved on December 1st. Only after recording my audio on the 7th of December did I return to this information in order to examine its content in light of the Daniel key. Those of you who are not familiar with the Daniel key can learn more about that at the Clock Prophecy website. My discussion on the 7th began by pointing to the center of Revelation, referring to chapter 12, verse 8 at about 2:50 prophetically, or day 1260 on the clock in the AM layer. You may have noticed that my discussion moved on to other metrics without further explanation as to the relevance of verse 202 at the center of Revelation. It was only later that I realized the comment containing these seemingly random number values would provide an answer to that question. This brings me to the date of December the 7th, which, you might be surprised to know, has a connection to the planet Jupiter. More about that in a moment. Even before delving deeply into the numbers from the post that I saved as a screenshot on December 1, I was led to simply add the result portion as clock time 4:15:73 to the clock time left over from my review of verse 202 a few hours earlier. To be exact, I had set the verse vector to 202.5, moving the clock to the war in heaven at the middle of verse 9, which I also mentioned briefly in the podcast. I was somewhat taken aback when the result of this, upon entering the addition, was clock time 666 on the date of January 10th, 2026. To be clear, clock time 4:15:73 was added to verse vector 202.5, which occurs at clock time 2:50:65, resulting in clock time 66638, or near the middle of this 4 1/3 day window. The story, however, does not end there. Having watched a number of discussions about 3i Atlas approaching Jupiter, I began to think about the movie 2010, The Year We Make Contact, the sequel to 2001, A Space Odyssey, both of which I had seen when I was very young. In the sequel, the planet Jupiter ignites to become a star in Earth's sky when it somehow achieves critical mass, and I can remember being overwhelmed with the sensation that this would actually occur during my lifetime. The movie was released on the date of December 7, 1984, exactly 41 years before my audio podcast dated December 7th, 2025. Please note that I had to look this up just a few days ago, having assumed that the movie was made in the year 2010. The number 41 has been discussed often in these updates, relating to both Prince William and to certain historical events in Judea. If 3i Atlas somehow triggers critical mass in Jupiter, that means Jupiter itself may become the sign of the Son of Man in heaven. While this is considered impossible, since Jupiter's mass is thought to be 80 times too small to sustain nuclear fusion, such an event would therefore be proof of divine providence. It is my sense that if this occurs, it is likely to take place during the 4-part harvest after the head wound to the first beast. With 3i Atlas playing a role in all this, I have to wonder how the authorities will try and spin this into its ET psyop invented by the fallen angels to bring about great delusion. It's my guess that the forces of Christ will be cast by the globalists as a competing extraterrestrial threat before mandating the chip we know as the mark in order to justify the elimination of Christians. Remember that Satan can only respond to events as they unfold. He cannot defeat God's army or alter the final outcome. I will be sharing more clock metrics related to Jupiter and when the new star may appear on the timeline in an upcoming alert. There may be a written special update closer to Christmas with new details. God bless as you continue to hear what the Spirit is saying to the churches. Behold, I come quickly. This is Peter John Brandel.